position. Oh, what a nail! As Jonathan Bostic gets separated, Mike Willie from the football.
Okay, you already know what's popping. Fourth quarter Boyz Sports in the building once again. It is your illustrious host, Professor Lake. And today we're going to preview the Chicago Bears versus the New York Jets matchup. Got a few things I want to enlighten the viewers on, give you my thoughts on what the Bears need to do in order to pull this off in Soldier Field. But before I get into it, you know how I do right about this time is Fourth Quarter Boyz Sports. It's me, the illustrious one, Professor Lake. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah, be a fourth quarter boy for life. For life, man. Hit that notification bell. Let's jump right into the preview. So we got Sam Darnold, Todd Bowles coming into Soldier Field with the band of Jets. And just to familiarize ourselves with the quarterback that we got coming in. He's a rookie out of USC. He's coming into Soldier Field with an aggressive nature. He's had some ups and downs this season. He has a 56.1 completion percentage. He's thrown 10 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 10 interceptions. And so far this year, his quarterback rating is 74.3. That's just a small picture of what the Bears defense have to face in regards to the quarterback position. No, he's not Tom Brady, but he will try to get the ball downfield. Now, the two running backs the Jets have been using, Bilal Powell and Isaiah Crowell, it's looking like Bilal Powell may miss some time this week. And Isaiah Crowell, on the other hand, he's been up and down as well, but he came off a big game. I think it was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he rattled off 200 yards rushing and I think 2 or 3 touchdowns. I had him on my fantasy team, and he did pretty well for me that week. Now, Isaiah Crowell is the running back I think that will get the majority of the snaps. He's accounted for 459 yards rushing this season. Again, he's had an inconsistent season. About 200 of those yards have come from one game. With that in mind, he runs the ball at about 5.7 yards a clip, and he's had 5 touchdowns this season, okay? So what doesn't seem as much of a threatening running back, he is outperforming our Jordan Howard. Now, the wide receivers for the Jets account for only 8 of the touchdowns this season. Kind of banged up. There's been some changes going on. They just picked up Rashard Matthews. He was released from the Titans and picked up by the Jets. It just kind of gives you an idea of where the wide receiver room is at. It reminds me of our wide receiving room last year. But they're banged up. A couple of the guys that were making plays earlier this season are out. Terrell Pryor has been released, and he was kind of productive for the Jets as well. I'm not sure what to expect out the passing game considering the situation. Let's hope that the secondary could hold this together and maybe get some turnovers. Now, the offensive line is average. I think that they may try to do what the Patriots did and double team Hicks and Mack if possible, but look for a lot of double teams up front on our defensive line. I just think that was a recipe for success when you look at what the Patriots did last week. Defensively, they're the 5th best team overall in third downs. They have produced 15 sacks, 10 interceptions, and 9 forced fumbles. So the Bear offense really needs to concentrate on ball security as well. No interceptions, no fumbles. You know, this is a team that is surviving off of the turnover and special teams play. 2 players on the New York Jets defense that the Bears probably want to scheme or keep their eye on are Jamal Adams, the second-year safety out of LSU. Even though he's only in his second year, he's played like a 6-year pro since he's touched down in New York. Leonard Williams is another guy from USC. He played on the line. He's had an up and down sort of career with the New York Jets. He was a first-round draft pick. With all of that in mind, he's had an inconsistent career so far, yet he has had splash plays here and there. Now, as for the Bears offense, you know, even though we've seen some inconsistency with Mitchell Trubisky's play. They're a pretty productive offense. Despite that, they're +7 in the turnover ratio category. They've scored 20 touchdowns this season, 1,500 yards passing thus far, and 784 rushing yards. The interesting thing about the rushing yards is that about 30% of those rushing yards are coming from our quarterback, so we're not getting a lot of production out the two running backs, Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard. This season, Jordan Howard only has 311 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, while Tariq Cohen has 184 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. I really want to see the Bears get a lot more production out of these two guys. If the offensive line could get a little bit more push, create some bigger holes, I really see Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen rattling off some longer chunk runs, coming up the middle, and then maybe working the outside. Now in the wide receiver room, it's like night and day compared to last year for the Chicago Bears. Each of the guys that I'm about to mention at least have 2 touchdowns on the season. Trey Burton is leading the tight ends and receivers in touchdowns with 4, while Taylor Gabriel, he's leading this group in yards overall in the passing game with 329 yards and 30 receptions. This game, I look to see Taylor Gabriel get back on track. I think Trubisky is finally using Trey Burton for the reason that he was brought in here for, the security blanket, the guy that's going to draw attention over the middle and eventually open up some opportunities for the guys on the outside and in the slot. Now, this Bear offense goes just as Trubisky goes. Even though a lot of us are worried about his development, he's completing 65.9% of his passes. He's thrown for 13 touchdowns this season, which totally eclipses last year's stats in passing touchdowns for Trubisky. He has thrown 6 interceptions. He's been sacked 14 times. But check this out. His QBR is 97.1. That's pretty impressive for a second-year quarterback, in my opinion. Defensively for the Bears, we really got to get back on track. We got to get better with this tackling. Danny Trevathan leads the team in tackling with 29 tackles, 2 sacks. Kyle Fuller's leading the team in interceptions with 3. What's also interesting about this Bears defense is that most of the DBs at least have 1 interception, with the exception of Kevin Tolliver. So after comparing the teams, what do the Bears really need to do to come away with a W in Soldier Field this week? Trubisky has to improve with his accuracy. Despite what Matt Nagy says, I know what I'm looking at, and Trubisky needs to be more accurate. He missed a lot of big plays downfield, overthrowing wide receivers who are wide open, not pulling the trigger on wide receivers that are open and waiting too long to get the ball to them. These are things that Trubisky is going to have to improve on to take this offense to the next level. I do think that will come. I think it will come. One thing that people say about Trubisky, and I might have mentioned it in a previous video, is that he gets nervous when he sees wide open receivers. I don't really like to categorize it as being nervous. I think Mitchell Trubisky is an excited guy. I think he sees a guy wide open, gets excited, and he just kind of tweaks. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't become relaxed in that moment. I'm just glad that it's not nervousness. I think excitement can be curtailed a little bit easier than nervousness. So I think if he could quell his excitement when he sees a receiver break open or when he anticipates some separation from Anthony Miller or Taylor Gabriel, that will help his accuracy issues. Again, we can't turn the ball over. This is a team that wins games because of turnovers. Not necessarily that their offense is beating you, but they capitalize on turnovers. They've been getting touchdowns on turnovers. Okay? And Trubisky just has to continue to grow in Matt Nagy's system. It's been a lot of improvement since last year, and I think it's just going to get better. We have to remember that he doesn't have a lot of experience. And I know it's like hearing a broken record, but it's the truth. And as he grows, you'll see that the experience is helping him each game. A lot of fans are saying Nagy is not scheming the run game well enough, or they're not running the ball enough. But Jordan Howard, in order to get the carries, you have to show that you deserve the carries. And 2 yards a carry, 3 yards a carry isn't good enough. Until he gets 4 or 5 yards a clip, you will see him sharing reps with Tariq Cohen. Not that Tariq Cohen is a better running back. He's a different type of running back. And in Matt Nagy's system, he will get yards in other ways. But Cohen also needs to continue to show progress in the system, as well as improve on his inside running game, which kind of ties this into the offensive line getting movement better than they have been doing in the run game in previous games. They have to move people off the ball. So I would like to see the offensive line get a better push. I think that's going to open up the run game a little bit. I don't need to see the two running backs get 20 to 25 carries running the ball. I just need to see them maximize their opportunities and not get 2 yards a carry, 3 yards here. The wideouts just continue to do what they're doing. Get open, get separation, but catch the ball. Catch the ball. Not catching the ball hurt us playing against the Patriots. There were a couple times where balls were lost in the sun. Allen Robinson drops the ball for a long gain. Turnovers. So they have to catch the ball, secure the ball, and help Mitch out in that way. Defensively, the secondary has to do better at tackling and taking better angles and playing tighter coverage. You got to play a lot tighter coverage. The Patriots had guys running rampant all through their secondary, wide open. And it wasn't that guys were falling down. I mean, I don't know how they were getting this open. But that has to be better. I know they were probably playing some sort of zone shell, but you can't have these guys just running through your zone unaccounted for. A guy like Sam Darnold will try to take advantage. Their defensive line, they have to penetrate, cause havoc. Hands up on the quick passes. Stop the run. Real basic. Get penetration, cause havoc, stop the run. Hands up on the quick pass. The linebackers have been playing relatively well, in my opinion. I just think that tackling has been something the Bears have struggled with as a whole. And outside of Roquan Smith, he's been really thumping guys. I just think that tackling needs to be a focal point playing against the Jets. You don't need them getting any yards after catch or breakaway runs for big gains. It's time to get back to that defense that swarms ball carriers no matter where they are on the field. So I'm looking forward to the Bears getting back on track defensively and showing a lot more growth offensively against a defense that is also injured and has injuries in their secondary. So with all that said, I see the game ending Bears 35, Jets 17. Even though in my prediction you see the Jets scoring 2 touchdowns and a field goal, I just feel that the Bears are going to be able to put themselves in a winning position early on. And most of this game, I think that the Jets will be playing catch up. I think Trubisky got a lot of experience playing against the Patriots, being in different situations. It's only going to help him this game. And I believe that he's going to do what it takes to be more accurate. I think he's also going to throw more conviction, more anticipation. And that's only going to be better for our offense. The light is turning on, but slowly. It's not flicking on. This match is burning right now. You know what I mean? So, with all of that said, you know what time it is, man. Fourth Quarter Boyz Sports. It's your illustrious host, Professor Lake, man. Looking forward to this Sunday's battle on the lake. Look for me late night after the game. I will be doing a post-game recap on the late night. Okay? So again, it's Fourth Quarter Boyz Sports. I'm your illustrious host, Professor Lake. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah! Be a fourth quarter boy for life. Hit that notification bell for me, dog. I'm out.
And this is what a nail! As Jonathan Bostic gets separated, Mike Willie from the football.